Dear students, hope you are well. My today's speech is for the English version students of grade 8 or class 8 on Bangladesh and global studies. I was discussing about chapter 1 Colonial Age and the Liberation War of Bengal. Today I will discuss lesson 1 Political background of the Bengal. Pre-colonial rules. I am reading from text for your better realization. Please open your own textbook chapter lesson 1 Political background of the Bengal. Pre-colonial rule. Pre-colonial rule means, in my previous video you came to know that what is colonial rule. In 1757, the British came to the power of Bengal, defeating Nawab Siraj-ud-Dowla of Bengal, Bihar and Orissa, and became colonial rule. Now, in this chapter, the history of pre-colonial rule before 1757, the political background of Bengal. Now I read from text. It is known that human inhabitation began in Bengal from ancient period. Human inhabitation means human started to live here in this Bengal from ancient period. Usually this region was always full of wealth. As a result, people from different places had started to arrive here much before the English. The English people came here for conducting their trade and commerce. But in this Bengal, there are full resources, so people came here from ancient period. The main attraction for all was the abundance of wealth in Bengal. What was the attraction? The main attraction for all was the abundance of wealth in Bengal. Abundance, much wealth. Abundance of wealth means much wealth. So, the arrival of the foreigners in the history of Bengal is not a new instance. So, the foreigners too came here for their trade and business. Aryan speaking people arrived in Bengal before the Christian era. Before the Christian era, the Aryan speaking people arrived in Bengal. The Maurya Emperor of India, Ashok the Great, occupied the northern part of Bengal in 300 BC. 300 BC means before the birth of Christ, Jishu or Isha. Before the birth of Christ, the Maurya Emperor of India, Ashoka was the Maurya Emperor of Maurya dynasty, occupied the northern part of Bengal. At that time, the northern Bengal, known as Pundranagar, Pundrabardhan Bhukti, became the province of the Mauryans. Pundrabardhan became the province. After the Maurya rule or Maurya rule, the Gupta dynasty takes over the rule of India. After the Maurya rule, that is after the fall of Ashok, the great Indian emperor, the Gupta dynasty takes over the rule of India. During the next 4 centuries, the North Bengal and some part of Southeast Bengal became under the rule of Gupta dynasty. They ruled for 400 years Bengal, North Bengal, Southeast Bengal. In 7th century, after the fall of the Guptas, the first independent state was established in the then Bengal. In 7th century, after the fall of Guptas, the Gupta dynasty who ruled for 400 years, this Bengal, they fell And in 17th century, after the fall of Guptas, the first independent state was established in the then Bengal. Bengal became independent in 7th century. King Shashanko, the independent Bengali king, did not rule for long. King Shashanko was the first ruler of independent Bengali, but he did not rule for long. After his death, great anarchy had been prevailing for almost 100 years. After his death, the country became rulerless because there were no rulers to permanently rule the country. So, a great anarchy prevailed there almost for 100 years. In Sanskrit, this age is known as the age of Marshannaya, the age of anarchy. This is called Marshannaya. What is Marshannaya? Marshannaya is an ancient Indian philosophy which refers to the principle of the law of fish. It is described as the fundamental law of nature explained by the proverb of the big fish devouring the smaller fish. Hence, strong devour the weak. When the big fish devouring the smaller fish, the pond became empty. Only some big fish exist there. This is Marshannaya. After the Marshannaya, what happened? Then a long-lasting Bengali state was established in the middle of the 8th century. After the Marshannaya, a long-lasting Bengali state established in the middle of 8th century. In the middle of 8th century, a long-lasting Bengali state established. The Bengali Pal king reigned for almost 400 years. The Pal dynasty, Pal king. There are different kings ruled for almost 400 years. After the fall of the Pals, Bengal went under the rule of the foreigners again at the end of 11th century. But at the end of 11th century, Bengal went under the rule of the foreigners. Coming from Karnataka of southern India, the kings of Sen dynasty occupied the throne of Bengal. Who were the foreigners? At the end of 11th century, the Sen dynasty occupied the throne of Bengal. So, in this chapter, the most attractive and well-known thing is Marshannaya. Perhaps you came to know about Marshannaya, the ancient proverb of India or Bengal. No more today. Thank you.